Hello, everyone. Today we are joined by Rob Rene. Rob is a near-death survivor whose life was transformed after a fatal near-death accident, which led him on a path to sharing his unique insights on living a pain-free and vibrant life. Rob is a keynote speaker, an herbalist, and a molecular hydrogen researcher. He actually has his very own podcast called the I Am Pain Free podcast, which Dan and I were so generously on as guests, which is how we met Rob. So, Rob, we are thrilled to welcome you on our show, The Deep Life. Welcome.
Thank you so much. The deep life. I love it. So
Oh,
glad to
Rob,
be
we are
here.
very excited. And what we're going to do too is link the show that we were on for you, the guest episode of your Pain Free podcast, in our show notes for anybody who's interested in listening to that, because we dove pretty deep in that show as well.
Yeah, that was a good one for sure. I love it.
We
Love your
have
guys'
to start
story.
off because we didn't touch upon this in your show, but this is miraculous that you survived something near death, this really tragic accident, and which led you on this path to living a vibrant, pain-free life. Can you tell us a little bit about that part of your life and what this near-death experience was like for you?
Yeah, it's one of those stories. It's just literally, unbelievable. You never could think that could happen to anybody, let alone yourself, right? So, I like to start off a little bit younger than that accident to describe who I am, right? So, my story kind of began when I was young. I was an athlete. I loved to do all different types of sports, but running was just one of those things came naturally to me. And so I was much better at it than the other sports. And so I just gravitated towards running, and I ended up being pretty good at it. I ended up as a middle schooler. I won a national cross country championship, and it was like, wow, I could be pretty good at this. And so really started focusing on that. And I read a book that was really transformational in my life. That is really, as you go through my life, I rely back on that, and it was called Eat to Win. And it was so awesome because it taught me that at a young age what you actually put in your mouth becomes you, right? And fuels your body. And it was great for running for me because I was a distance runner, and we'd run these races, and my competitors would be out, drinking, you soda and pizza, and I'm fueling my body correctly. And at the end of a race, I always had an extra kick, right? So it was really amazing that helped me a ton. And so I was doing really well. And my goal in life at that as a youngster was to be a professional runner. And as I got a scholarship to a Division I school, and I was on my way. I just made the U.S. junior team, so I was the second best miler in the country as a 20 year old. And I just thought, man, I am on my way. My coaches thought I was on my way. And then that winter, I was out on a training run, and my friend and I were running, and my buddy just jumped into the ditch and yelled my name. And I like turned around, and only I just saw this 4x4 truck coming, and there was nothing I could do. Like I had no way to move. I just said, I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna get hit. And it hit me in the hip and then launched me 36 feet.
Oh
So
my God.
literally, that's a long, long, long way. And I
Fluid
landed straight on
decline.
my face. And then my knees. And it was just really a crazy accident in respect that I was unconscious, laying on the side of the road, and then my throat clogged up with blood. I had a bloody nose earlier in the run because it was really cold and dry in Utah in the winter, and my throat just clogged up. So then I'm unconscious, I'm not breathing, and I'm laying at freezing. And so if it wasn't for my friend who was with me, who jumped into the ditch and came to my aid, and he could tell I wasn't breathing. So he unclogged my throat, or I wouldn't be here today.
Wow.
Um, so that, thank God for him. And ever since that day, I really felt God had a plan for my life. But I did go through a really long period of time where I struggled, right? I struggled with depression. I struggled with addiction. I struggled with just anxiety from losing my entire life at that point, right? And I did rebound, and I had a family, and I went into the corporate world, and I had a career, but I still never had that connection, right? It's like, what is missing? And then the pandemic hit. And that was like, I call it the second truck, because that truck hit me. And I was like, my whole life changed again. So I
Wow.
lost my sales career. I'm like, oh my gosh, now what do I do? And that's where I really started digging into health. And it was just because initially I was like, okay, I know, remember when I was an athlete, young, I knew that what I put in my body fuels my body. So how am I going to take care of my family? Right. I don't want to get anybody hurt. So I was, researching things, and I saw this one doctor. He's like, vitamin D is really helpful. Then I saw the vilification of this doctor. I'm like, why are they vilifying this guy? He's talking about vitamin D, which is the sun. It's like, that's like the most natural thing you can do. So I couldn't understand why they were vilifying him. So I started doing research. And oh my gosh, when I did the research, I was in, before that, I was in the matrix. My head was down. I didn't care about politics. I didn't care about health. I was like, hey, if I had something wrong, I'd go to the white coat, right? And the white coat would fix me. I'd take the pills, and I would be better. And when I started doing this research, I realized how nefarious this world is, not necessarily just our health industry, but going down that rabbit hole of health really was intriguing to me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been lied to my entire life, and I had no clue that I had been. So that was really frustrating. I really kind of felt like a death in the family, right? I was like, I was
Yeah.
so, I went through that whole period, those different emotions that you have when you lose someone. It's like I was really depressed initially. Then I got really, really angry. I'm like, how is this possible that we can be lied to like this? And then you come out with like, okay, what can I do about it?
Mm.
And I wasn't sure what to do about it. And that's kind of what led me to this all natural health journey that I've been on the last few years, as well as a really strong faith journey. So I've developed an amazing relationship with God, and I really feel that He has been leading me my entire life and chiseling me to be the person that I am. And so literally now my mantra is, I'm a warrior for people's faith and health. And that's why I believe He has me on this earth, is to help people with both of those. So there you go. There's my life story in what, 10 minutes.
Yeah, I love that. It's such a powerful story, and it's so powerful to me to hear you tell it, because you did come through on the other side.
Yeah.
And I think for so many of us, like I very similarly, as I started going down that journey of health and just trying to take care of myself in different ways, the more research you do, it's like, wait a minute. For me, it was the first thing that really jumped out was like, wait, saturated fat isn't bad for us, and it's actually really healthy to eat
I
more
know the
eggs.
pyramid is like the freaking reverse.
Yeah. No, it's the same thing. I started going down all these rabbit holes, and it's like, wait, the sun is literally what's giving life to everything on this
Yeah,
planet. It's
yeah,
the
it
healthiest
is.
thing we can do, and it does really get frustrating. And I can really relate to that feeling of like a death in the family. It's like
Yeah,
not
yeah,
knowing, like, am I the crazy one? Is everybody else crazy? Like, what's going on? How is this happening?
yeah. Because
And
once you see it, you can't unsee it,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
You're like, oh my gosh, okay, how do I help people see this, what I'm seeing? Because most people don't.
Yeah, and
To me,
it
that's why,
really
I
does
love what you
convince
guys do,
anybody.
because I know you're helping people wake up, right? And you're
Yeah.
helping them understand how to be healthy naturally. And I love what you guys do. And I feel that I'm on a similar journey. It's like, we need to wake people up. We
Mhm.
need to help them understand that, man, that their health is their most important asset, right? It's like
Yeah.
that's the best gift you can give your loved one, is a healthy you. So you give yourself a healthy you, and then guess what? Then you can have an impact in this world, and you can have an impact on what I call the kingdom, right? So
Yeah.
so I think it's super important.
Yeah, I love that. And, like, it does. It gets really dark, and it's really nice talking with you, because you can tell that you've come through that darkness, and now
Yeah.
like, there's so much light, and there's so much just passion and joy for what you do. And I just think
I
it's
I
really,
I
it's
appreciate that,
really
because
inspiring.
I'm like so excited. It's like literally I finally believe I'm stepping into what God put me on this earth for, which is really awesome feeling when you just feel like you're in your shoes, and it's like, okay, I have no idea where I'm going, but I know that I'm on the right path, and I'm just going to keep being obedient, right? And man, every step, every door he's opening is just phenomenal. And you can literally see in my last couple of years what he's done for me and through me. It's not me. He's just leading me to the right people at the right place at the right time, and amazing things are happening. And I think we're going to look back on this time frame in the end of 2024 and say, oh my gosh, look at what the impact he's had over, in a couple of years from now, we're going to look back and say, that was just the beginning of the journey. And I'm so excited for this journey. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think you guys are going to be the same way. I think the deep life is going to be amazing, and you're going to impact just millions of people's lives, and we're going to have fun doing it together.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Well, I have so many directions where we could go.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Well, the first thing which I feel like is so profound, and I'm sure people aren't hearing it, but you have this phrase that you use, which is so beautiful, and our listeners are going to be able to understand this, because within the deep life, it's obviously cultivating that deep understanding of who we truly are, kind of as you're saying. It's like allowing the light to work through us, allowing God to work through us. We are a part of him, her, whatever you'd like to call it, source, the creator, whatever you want to use of it. But you have this phrase, exiting the old you. And that is something that Dan and I talk about so much. And you just said it there, but you said it subtly. What you've done, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but like those versions of you that were, the alcohol, the pain, the depression, the anxiety, all of these versions of you almost needed to exist so that you could see the power within you, and almost just give reverence and respect to those aspects that got you to this point, but also let them go. They're not serving Rob in this next chapter, right?
It's so powerful. Yeah, you're so I mean, that's exactly right, because everything was for a reason, and I see that now, right? But man, some of that sucked.
Well, exactly. I want to talk about that, because I think when people are in it, they don't get it. It's the loss of a loved one. It's a tragic accident. It's a job that's lost. It's a relationship that's lost. It's something, and we get so like, oh my gosh, why is life happening? Why is this happening? It's like, how can we begin to understand and reframe that life is happening for us? Right. The creator, God, the universe, life wants to be birthed through us so that we can find our purpose, so that we can find joy and happiness. And how do we do that? How can we begin to allow others to see it in that aspect?
Yeah, and I, in my opinion, since I come from a big biblical perspective, for me, my journey was going to trying to understand that, because I grew up as kind of a creaster, where it's like I'd go to church on Christmas and Easter, right? It was like, and I would go on the other Sundays, but it was like as soon as Sunday, afternoon, I hit the door and I was out the door. I didn't think about church or God or the Bible or anything until next Sunday. And then I'd sit down and I'd get my little lesson, and I'd go away. That once I started actually digging into the word and into now I've personally developed a relationship with God, that it's just transformed my life in a huge way. And so that was my journey, was it's like, okay, what is this? Do I really believe this? And why do I believe this? And I went to a school where it was a religious school, and it wasn't a Christian-based school. And the one of the courses I took was world religions, and it was really an interesting course, because my gosh, there's hundreds of religions, right? Who knew that? I mean, at least I didn't before I took the course. And so there's people have all different types of beliefs, which I totally respect everybody and their beliefs. But what came as a truth to me was looking at the Bible. When I read the Bible, and I was like, okay, is this true? And can I refute it? And all the research that I personally did, I couldn't refute any the information in the Bible. That was like the source of truth for me. So when it became the source of truth, then I said, okay, I either have to understand this, and if I do understand this, then how do I understand it? And the way to understand it, that's so cool about the Bible, is it's like a living word of the Lord. So you're reading it, and he's still communicating with you. So it's alive. It's not just an old book that's just sitting there on the shelf. which it is amazing, and it was divinely put together. And that's some really interesting, research you can do on how it was put together and why it's divinely put together. So there's lots of textual criticism, as they call it, and there's a lot of archaeological evidence, and there's a lot of prophecy evidence of the Bible. And once I went through all of that and looked like, oh my gosh, okay, so this is what I believe that is true, I started learning what it is that's true. And my gosh, it's been a fascinating journey, and I'm loving it, just because, to me, I don't have I really try to not have a hatred for anybody else. I love everybody else, right? He literally teaches us that you need to love everybody, right? And even if they are your enemy. And it's like, that sounds so bizarre and so weird. And people think that I'm not, which is really frustrating to me a lot of times, because I'm like, I really try not to be. If I, yes, I don't agree with people, what they do, but it doesn't mean I don't love them. Right. So anyway, that's been I guess my short little faith journey was that. And it's been so exciting ever since I have done that, because I really feel that I'm following and have that relationship with him. And I'm listening to that message and voice, and he's leading my direction. I'll ask for that direction, and he opens the right doors. And I say, hey, if this door is not the right door, close it quickly and let me know. Right. Sometimes I get slapped upside the face. I'm like, well, that definitely was not a place I'm supposed to go. Right. So it's been a fascinating journey for me.
Yeah, it sounds like you've developed a beautiful way to trust when he presents you what's necessary. Thank you.
Yeah, and there's just like he did not say life is going to be easy, right? At all, ever. It's like all the you read the Bible, and there was persecution all across the board, and their lives were never easy, right? Just even the exit the old you. I love that statement, because it like literally is, you're exiting this old version of yourself, and you're coming into a new person and a new light. And there's so much amazing things you can do, just like when in the Bible in Exodus, right? That's why I named this new brand, that company we've built, Exodus, is because it's like you're going from the old you, and you're exiting that into the promised land, right? And it's the promised land is the new you. And then when you become that new you can really shine that light, and you can be that light to your family, or you can be that light to your neighbors, you can be that light to your community. And people can look at it and say, what's different about that guy? Why is he smiling, right? Why is he happy? The world is falling around and crumbling on us, but he's still got a smile on his face. And that I'm trying to be that. Of course, there are times when I get pretty dang grumpy, but but you know what I mean.
I'll make sure. Okay, awesome. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think that's really powerful, and I think that, like, even if somebody doesn't have maybe the faith that you have, I think it's hard to deny that there's a lot of great wisdom in the Bible. And whether you think it's historical fact or it's more psychological and mythology, like, either way, there's a lot of wisdom. I was curious if it was sort of like, did the Bible lead you toward the way that you've gone into, like, herbology and frequency medicine and all that? Or was it kind of, I don't want to say it, obviously not a coincidence, but did these happen separately and then you merged?
That's an awesome question. I believe that the Lord led me, right? So I started digging into the Word, right? And one of the books that I love a lot, I read Proverbs, right? Proverbs is amazing because the wisdom is so awesome in that book, and it's like such a recipe for life. If you really look at, and there's 31 passages, right? So you can read, or 31 chapters. You can read a chapter a day, and it only takes 5-10 minutes, and you can read that, and it's like, hey, that's great wisdom for today. And when you do that, it's like, wow, it's amazing. So then I started reading that, and then I started reading other stuff, and in addition to that. But I always read Proverbs because there's such good wisdom in there. It's like I ask for wisdom too. I ask for divine wisdom, and when that happens, I really try to follow what he's doing, and that's what he did with me. It's like when that pandemic hit, and all the craziness was going on, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? How can I help the world? And I didn't know. So, but what I thought was like, okay, I remember nutrition was really important. So to help my family, I'm going to make sure we have the right nutrients. So I'm going to go start formulating some supplements, and then we can maybe help other people with these supplements. That was my first thought. And when I was formulating, I found this amazing formulator, and the formulator came to me one day and said, "Have you ever heard of quantum energy?" And I was like, "Quantum what?" So I'd heard of quantum computing because I'd spent 20 years, 25 years in enterprise software sales, so I knew the technology world pretty well, but I didn't know the health world really well. And so he introduced me to this, I call him a mad scientist, and he's been working on this quantum technology for 30 years, right? So he's really experienced, and the stuff he told me, I was like, come on, right? Like, I know. It's like that. But when I went through that pandemic experience, that was one of the best skills I ever developed, was researching things for myself. Right. So I unplugged from media. I unplugged from the radio. I unplugged from the radio news. I literally said, okay, I'm not going to take anybody else's agenda anymore. I'm going to go research things for myself. And when you do that, it's so empowering, because you'll still find a bunch of crap, because there's a lot of agenda even written out there, no matter where it is. So you start finding these resources that you think you can trust. And then over time, you test those sources. And a lot of times they're BS, and a lot of times they're right on the dot. So the things that are right on the dot, you start listening to a little bit more, right? And my gosh, it's been amazing ever since this awakening for me, or the blue pill, the red pill I took from the Matrix. Since I got out of it, is like I start trusting these other sources that have been right after right after right after right. It's like they haven't been wrong on anything. It's like, oh my gosh. So then you have at least a source of truth that you can do. I always cross everything against the Bible as well, right? So I take those two. So to make a long story short, I got introduced to this frequency medicine. I didn't trust it. I didn't believe it. And I went to say, okay, how can I either understand this or prove it wrong? One or the other. And I couldn't prove it wrong. And I started research. I'm like, oh my gosh, the body is made up of energy. I didn't know that, right? And then you start researching the cell, all down to the cellular level. Our cells interact with frequencies, or it's actually vibrations, which give off a frequency. I'm like, oh my gosh, so frequencies can actually interact with our bodies, and then interact even down to the cellular level. Wow. So what are frequencies? I didn't understand that either. I thought that was a weird term. And then frequencies are everywhere, right? Your cell phone is a frequency. The radio, when you're going down 60 miles an hour on the road and you're tuned onto a station, those who used to have radios on their cars.
Yeah.
I guess I'm aging myself, aren't I? But you turn the dial, and you turn that dial to a different frequency. It's just so then you realize light's a frequency, color's a frequency, and it's like, okay, so frequencies aren't weird. They're everywhere. And God made our bodies so incredibly complex. He made us up of energy, and it interacts with frequencies. I'm like, okay. So now I get that. Now tell me what you're doing again. So then I understood what he's doing, and he programs these frequencies on these little microscopic crystalline structures on these skin patches, and you apply it to your body, and it helps you with different issues, pain relief or allergy relief, or other things. And I was like, that's incredible. So we started a company, and we started doing these skin patches to help people with it's because it's 100% natural, right? There's no drugs whatsoever. It's all natural frequencies. And we even include 40 Bible verses on these little skin patches that are connected to your energy system. It's like, that's pretty cool. So I really enjoyed that. And then the herbalist part of me, because reading the Bible a lot, was like, wow, there's some really cool things in the Bible that talk about healing. So I went down a healing path, and it's like, my gosh, the Lord can heal anybody at any time, which is really cool. But then it's like, oh my gosh, they also used a lot of herbs and a lot of superfoods in the Bible to help them with things, right? One of them was like the balm of Gilead. I was like, man, I wish I could find that balm. I could heal everybody. But I haven't been able to find that balm, but I was looking, right? I kept finding and looking for things, and I came up with this combination of like 12 different ingredients in there. I'm like, I'm going to create a new supplement that's just going to be world changing. And I couldn't find that world changing thing. I found some really awesome ingredients, and was trying all different types of combinations to make something really unique and different. But there's so many other supplements and stuff out there. It's like, it's not really different. That then, gosh, a lot of, the God is good, in the respect that I was looking for this, and he introduced me. I met this woman, and she found out what I was doing. So she's like, well, have you ever talked to this guy? And then no. So I talked to this doctor literally in Southern California, and he's like, I've got this molecular hydrogen component that I've been trying to look at, seeing how I can market this in a biblical way. And I'm like, no way, I'm trying to take these biblical ingredients, trying to create a solution, and you have this. And I was like, so I wanted to understand what he meant by molecular hydrogen. That was also another term to me that was like the quantum frequency. I'm like, what the heck is that? Right. Then when I started doing research on what he had, I was blown away. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like 1,400 studies that have already been done on hydrogen and then effects it has on the human body. I'm like, not 1,400 of them haven't been on just the human body, but 1,400 studies have already been done on hydrogen, and then hundreds of them have been done on the human body, and the positive effects it has. And so he's figured out a way. He's got this patented formula that your body, when this formula he has, when it interacts with the fluid in your body, it creates hydrogen. So we took 7 of my most awesome ingredients that really connect with the molecular hydrogen, so they're really synergistic. And we took the best of those, and we created a new transformational solution that we call Exodus, that I'm just over the moon excited about, because not of how cool it is or anything, but literally how it's going to help people. And because it's going to have such an amazing impact on people, that it's the science behind it is amazing, but that doesn't even matter. But the stories we're hearing from people and what it's doing for their health is super exciting. And so I really believe that he led me to this to help his people, right? And to literally help the world. Is like, okay, we need to get this out there, and I'm trusting you now. I've trained you to do this your entire life. I've trained you to understand your body as an athlete. I've trained you for 20 years how to communicate and how to sell in a corporate world, and now I'm training you on on all natural health. So he went down this frequency world, understand the body. How does the body really work? How does it interact? And then he led me to those ingredients in the Bible. I'm like, yeah, this is really intriguing, really neat, but still it wasn't that exciting. Then when the molecular hydrogen component added onto these, and it's super exciting, because the combination of the two, you take it, the product really helps with energy. There's so many people that have fatigue right now and energy issues. It's off the chart. But then you look at one of our best-selling products in our frequency patches is a pain relief product. So I was doing a lot, and that's why I created the I Am Pain-Free podcast, because there's so many people that are in pain. I'm like, we have to help people, right? We have to help them understand how to relieve pain. And so I want to make sure that I talk about my 5 steps to all natural health that are just free, that we can talk about. But to get there, I'm like, how can we help people get pain free? And that's what's so awesome about our supplement is the reduction of inflammation. And if you do, all the natural practitioners that I meet with on my show and meeting with you guys, right? It's like understanding the inflammation and gut health, right? Like you guys were talking about, it's like it's core to you as a human being and core to your health. And when you get your gut health well, your inflammation is reduced, and guess what? The side effect of that inflammation, aka the pain, goes away, right? It's like, wow, that's so cool. So we help with fatigue, we help with inflammation, and then you look at what the actual molecular hydrogen does, and it helps with those 2 things, but then it also acts as a master antioxidant. And this is the thing that really blew me away. I'm like, okay, what does that really mean? And as I research it, it's like super cool, because it differentiates the good and bad stuff flowing throughout your bloodstream. So it gets rid of the free radicals, aka bad cells in your body, which aka cause the big C word, or lots of things that can lead to that. Sure. So it gets rid of a lot of that stuff, and then helps your mitochondrial process work more efficiently. So it's just like a super amazing, substance to put in your body because it's helping you. And then it helps with a lot of the major problems that people have today. So I talked about the first two, but then you look at the other two that are really chronic problems in our world. Like you look at the trajectory of what's happening with blood sugar issues, right? It's like going through the roof. They're destroying our food, they're destroying our air, etc. And so that's going through the roof. Guess what our product helps with? Blood sugar. Interesting. Gut health. Helps with gut health. Interesting. It's just like, wow. So anyway, I'm just so over the moon excited about it, just because we have this mission to get 1 million new people to read the word through their health. So we have a prayer guide that goes with every single product. And so whether or not you believe in the Bible or not, I understand a lot of people are not going to want to do this, but what the people that we want to, have them literally use their mouth to declare it, right? There's power in your tongue. The Bible tells us specifically that. Then you're using your eyes to read it and your ears to hear yourself say it. And then you believe in it, right? You believe, and your mind is so powerful. Your mind can help cure your body literally without anything. If you understand it, right? You guys know this stuff, so it's like really cool. So get people to have that mentality that I can get better, I'm going to get healthy, and I'm going to declare it. And then guess what? You take our supplement, we're going to help from the inside, and this is going to help you spiritually. So we're helping with the mind, body, and spirit, right? To help people with their health problems. And so anyway, I'm just stoked to help people, and I'm just can't believe the Lord has put this in my responsibility to get it out to the world, because it really is a burden, in just the respect that, oh my gosh, he's given me such an amazing thing that I'm not going to do it justice if I don't work my tail off to help people, because I know how amazing it is and people just don't know it yet. So I'm praying. Thank you guys for having me on your show, so we can talk about it.
Very clear. Right? I did want to ask a couple more questions. Exodus sounds amazing, and molecular hydrogen isn't something that we've really talked about much on the show. And
right,
you did a good job explaining there. And I don't want to put you on the spot too much, because I know you're not the scientist.
Yeah, I'm not the scientist, but hey, I'll always tell you I don't know if I don't.
Yeah. And this is something. It's literally like one of the next things I'm excited to start researching more. And my understanding with a lot of it is it has to do with, as we structure the water within our body, then there's a merging of the water molecules, and they turn into, instead of H2O, it becomes H3O2. But then there's an extra hydrogen molecule. And those extra hydrogen molecules are then able to move through the body and, like you're saying, attach to free radicals and relieve, because it's bringing like a negative ion, I believe. Like, don't quote me on any of that.
I think you're getting really close. Yeah,
balance out the positive force of the free radicals and neutralize them and help us, and that's what's eliminating the.
Yeah, I think you're getting very, very close, and so I would say that is the argument with the hydrogen water. Right.
That was going to be my next question. So yeah, go on.
There's so many of those bottles out there that you create, and I've been using my hydrogen bottle for 6 months, so I still like it because it's better than regular water, right? And it's got to be good filtered water, so make sure you get filtered water. But the hydrogen bottle is still good because it's going to create hydrogen. But the problem with those is it starts diffusing immediately, the hydrogen in it. So if you don't drink it like right off the bat, then you're not doing a whole lot of good, because it'll diffuse relatively quickly. And then when you drink it, by the time you actually put it in your mouth, it goes down your throat, into your gut, it's diffusing more. And then by the time your body actually literally assimilates it, there's not a whole lot of hydrogen in it in comparison to ours. And so the cool thing about ours is it's got this blend that when it goes into your belly, it interacts with your body fluid, and when it interacts with the body fluid, your body creates the hydrogen. So then it utilizes it because your body's creating it, and so that's what's so cool. And then how it works from there, your science is better than my science. So it does create hydrogen, and then it also is much more powerful than the inhalation method. So you can be attached to a hydrogen generating machine and inhalate the hydrogen. That's a really popular therapy. A lot of all natural health centers. But still, even it doesn't cross the either the brain barrier. I don't think it crosses one of the barriers, whether it's the gut barrier or the brain barrier. Whereas since our product is going into the bloodstream, it crosses both the gut barrier as well as the brain barrier. So it goes throughout your entire body, which is super unique, and why ours is so much more different than anybody else's.
That sounds really cool. That's what I was going to ask. I was saying most of the molecular hydrogen supplements I see are water, like hydrogen infused water.
Yep.
It didn't sound like this is what Exodus is. So how do you actually take it? Is it a powder?
Yeah, so it's a capsule. It's literally it's
Cool.
so here's the bottle, right?
Okay.
And it's a capsule. We have it encapsulated for a couple of reasons. One is it's relatively easy to take, right? But you can also separate the capsules, right? And so we even have some of the practitioners are recommending it for children. So they take the capsule apart, and they will help a child with a lower dose of the capsule.
Oh, cool.
Right. And then you can also help, certain animals can use it as well, because you can just put it in their food, right? Instead of them, trying to take the pill, and they always spit it out, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
really
it's just
cool.
a vegetable capsule. So it's gluten free, it's soy free, it's sugar free. It's all free of all the bad stuff and all the healthy stuff. It's done really amazing manufacturer in California, one of the largest manufacturers on the globe, who works with all these all natural health solutions. So it's by the book. It's like been tested every single, like, how you're going to do another test? Like, come on, give me my darn product, right?
The boxes there. I think that's fabulous, and actually probably something that a lot of companies do not do. So it's really remarkable to have that. Yeah, this Exodus thing sounds good. Let's kind of keep going here, because I think what is really interesting and that stood out to me and I want to touch upon is that you mentioned you're touching like mind, body, spirit, right?
Yeah.
Many people, and Dan and I know this coming from the fitness and health and wellness space, everybody wants to take a pill for something, or everybody wants to do a crash diet or whatever it is. And not that those don't work. However, there is 100% of the time, and I am firm on that number. It's my own, it's my opinion. There's a mindset component that has to accompany it. It's kind of like the placebo or nocebo effect, right? We want to make sure that our mindfulness around what we're doing with our body, to our body, for our body, is in alignment with the core values that we have for ourselves and our community and like our life's purpose.
I absolutely love it, and I 100% agree with you in the respect.
I wanted to touch upon really, like I said, regardless of the faith in God or whatever, what we're providing as like the spoken word here, something that Dan and I really have been focusing on recently is the power of words, and how
the power of your the power of that.
It's energy.
Yeah, it's another vibration.
Have you ever I think we talked about this, Dr. Emoto and his studies.
Yeah,
we talked about that?
The
water study. I mean, he literally, it's just speaking that into a glass of water changes the water, right? It's like, that's just so amazing. So 100%, your mind is very, very powerful, and the spoken word is very powerful. And that's why I love to talk about those 5 free things that you can do for your health, because I think our product is amazing. It's going to help a lot of people, but I want to just help people in general, just like you guys do, right? We want to help people. And that, before I forget, you said the key word that you guys are very into health and athletics, which is I am obviously am as well now. I took a couple decades off. I'm working really hard now, but the amazing thing about this product is we've got 6 bodybuilders, professional bodybuilders, who are using the product because it helps them recover really quickly, but then also gives them the aerobic capacity as they're doing their workouts as well. So it helps both ways. I was like, I could just spend my entire life just on athletics and this product would just go through the roof because it's so good for athletes. But I don't want to help just athletes, right? I want to help everybody. So I'm going to help everybody. But at the same point, if you are an athlete, I got a product that's just you're gonna just absolutely love. So anyway, so that's one thing. But these 5 things, let's talk about them. They're really important,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
They're so simple, right? They're so simple, but but people just don't do it. So let's get people to do it, right? Let's talk about it. First one is water, right? Hello.
Yeah.
We're 60 to 70% water, depending upon what study you read about the human body. So we have to have our water. We have to have, 200 pounds. I need 100 ounces of water a day, right? And if we don't do that, we're dehydrating ourselves. And when you're dehydrating yourselves, lots of bad things happen to your body. So if you're doing it to yourself if you don't get enough water, right? So that's one. And then guess what? Remember that the big sun thing that we talked about earlier? Vitamin D that started me down this rabbit hole. It's like, vitamin D is so important. You have to get some sun. And then the first 45 minutes are very important too, because you can do the first 45 minutes and it's what's called blue light. And there's no bad, what do they call it? The ultraviolet rays, through the first 45 minutes of the day. So you can go get full sun and you can, I don't want to tell you to gaze at the sun, but you can be out in the sun and it's very healthy for you the first 45 minutes. But if you can't do that, just get some sun. Sun's important.
Yes.
So those are the first 2 I always like to say. And then my wife always loves to bug me about this one because it was grounding. I have very sensitive feet and I hated the ground. And I was like, I'm not going to put my feet on the ground. And I like my running shoes, right? I was a runner.
Yeah.
And then I started doing research on grounding. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get my feet. So now I love grounding. It discharges all the bad energy and it helps you re-energize your body just naturally with what God made on this earth. It's like, really? I didn't understand that either. It's like, but man, you start researching these things and they're all real. So water is real, sun is real, and grounding is real. Those are 100% free. I can sell you a $5,000 mat you can put under your desk, and hey, you can ground. You want to spend $5,000? I can help you with that. But you want to do it for free? Go outside, take off your socks and shoes, right? So that's an amazing thing to do. And then the other 2 are kind of, people are on the edge on these just because it's like they're a little harder. The one is cold plunging, right? So I love my cold plunge. I live in Dallas, right? And Dallas is so flipping hot that for half of the year, my pool doesn't become my cold plunge. It makes me so mad because the first 6 months out of the year, I have this really cold water that I could get into and it acts as my cold plunge. But when it warms up, I have to use the shower and just do the last couple minutes of your shower and do it really cold. And that gives you really similar effects as if you do a cold plunge. And just research these things. Don't believe me. Just like I told you early on with this research thing. Don't believe me about the Bible. Research it yourself. Yeah. Don't believe me about water. Research it yourself. Don't believe me about cold plunging. Research it yourself. And then the 5th one is the breathing techniques, right? You can do these breathing techniques that will literally add years to your life. Why would you not do it when it's as simple, it takes you 5 minutes a day or 8 minutes a day, and my gosh, it has a transformational impact on your body, and it's free. So those 5 things you can do 100% free, and just those 5 things will transform your entire life.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah. We're both proponents of all 5 of
You don't have to sell Dan on this.
Yeah, I know. I'm speaking to the choir for sure, right? With YouTube.
We love it. No, we love this, and this is truly it lights us up, and we are so grateful that you're as passionate as we are, because, like we're saying, all we're trying to do is, I feel like I know that this is going to sound strange, so bear with me here.
Yeah, it sounds good.
I'm not necessarily trying to help people anymore. And by what I mean by that is that's truly what I did for so long, that I think I didn't have the correct energy around it, where it was a forceful help, where I wanted to convince people. Now I want to share what I've experienced, and if it resonates with them, like you said, research it, try yourself. Like, we love having people on there like, yes, ground, go out in the sunlight, drink it, drink the water.
Don't believe me. Just go try it yourself.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. It's not that I want to help people, but I'm coming from a different place where I'm just going to give the information, give my experience, talk to other people, experts in these fields, experts who have researched and have products that they're giving, that yes, we're not crazy. We've done these things, and truly, if it's going to resonate with you to try for the health, vitality, and longevity of your life, and it fits within your mind frame, please try these things.
I absolutely love it. Right. And you don't have to do all of them, right? Just try one. Right. Oh my gosh, that was easy.
Exactly. And that's kind of like how Dan sets it up.
Right. Like I call my company momentum.
That's awesome.
Like you do something, and then like you start grounding every day, and you're like, oh wow, I feel a lot better. I'm gonna spend some time in the sun, and then you feel better. And like, I'll drink more water, and then you keep doing that. And it's like, oh, maybe that guy that was talking about the cold plunge isn't as crazy as he sounds.
Exactly. Maybe I better try that.
And it's hard to deny how amazing you feel after. How much stress after a cold plunge.
It sucks. It's cold.
But then the rest of the day you feel so alive.
And it just has such an amazing impact on your body, right? And then it's even people that want to lose weight, man. It's incredible way your body just what is it called, the brown fat cells? It's like brown fat, just like. Your body utilizes it in such a different fashion, and the bad fat just goes away. It's like, wow, if people knew that, then our country would be in such better shape. But I also didn't. I was like,
all free. All this free stuff is amazing, and you touch on it. We can lean into it a little bit, because you mentioned, don't listen to me, do your own research, and it can be challenging when people start doing their own research. And we got all these free things, and then there's all these websites and media sources saying, "Oh, well, that's bullshit." Or,
that is.
He's crazy. He's trying to help people
because they don't want you healthy, right? They do not. There's billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars that are spent hiding this stuff from you, right? Literally. So that is unfortunate thing, and that they want you to continue to do the pill for an ill society because it's so ingrained in our mind. I literally had, the white coat was the end all do all when I grew up, right? It was like, you have a problem, go see the doctor. That was what you did. And the doctors don't ever get me wrong, the doctors and practitioners in this country are amazing. But the problem is the health system has just got them so focused on one little microscopic problem that they're not looking at the body as a whole. And so they're really good at fixing this one little thing, and they'll give you a pill for that one little thing, and more than likely it'll fix that thing, but it's going to maybe cause 2 or 3 other things. Every single drug has a side effect, no matter what the drug is. They all have side effects. So don't take drugs, take supplements. Give your body what it needs, and then your body's going to transform in a way that's unbelievable if you do the right research, right? So start digging in, and you do have to dig through these resources, because even the search engines will hide stuff from you. So you got to use alternative search engines. You can't use the AI systems, because a lot of the AI systems are trained incorrectly. It's really sad, but it's true. So you have to start looking at these alternative sources of information, and then when you start researching it and you test whether that's right or wrong, guess what? More than likely, a lot of that stuff is accurate. So it's like, wow, mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Glad you called that out, because that's so important. Because people will go do the research. I'll tell them to go do research, and they'll say, "Well, see, look, they said it's cold plunging is full of crap."
Exactly. And that's what I think. Like, the most powerful thing you said is these are all free.
Yeah,
it's hard to make money off of free things.
Yeah, they don't like it.
You have one product that costs a lot of money, and you have another one that's free. You're gonna steer people toward the one that costs a lot of money. So I think Always follow the money when you're doing your research and
Yeah,
think
follow the
about
money.
where that source is being paid from. Is it what
Oh,
ads are
beautiful.
running when you watch the news at night? Who's paying for all the ads that
Well,
run
yeah,
in between?
it's it. I was listening to a stat the other day. It's like, yeah, they guys like from the radio or for the TV companies, like, yeah, they don't sell one of those pills that they talk about on the ad. He says they just fill up the advertising space. So then they control what we do, right? And it's just like, that's so sad and so sick. It's like, but that's literally what happens. They have so much money that they can control information because they control not only the politicians, but they control the media, they control, and once whoever controls the media controls the mind, right? As some people say, which is really, really interesting. So
Yeah,
unplug.
yeah, exactly. That's the way
Unplug from the
out.
matrix. Pull it out.
Yeah, do your own research, try things for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, lean into some of these natural methods, I think, because it's really, really powerful.
Yeah, and what you've created with the Exodus and this brand and your message with it is just it's amazing.
It's fun. I'm so excited.
for you.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
as we're wrapping up here, Rob, because I feel like you provided so much incredible information. Thank you for your insights. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. Thank you for also, loving that we are on the same page with a lot of these health
Yes.
and topics, as well as, just life in general, presenting us with what we're going to, help others with.
That's right.
Exodus, I want to make sure to leave the space open if there's anything that you didn't touch upon that you'd like to share, and then tell us, like, especially our audience who's interested in this, like, can they buy it? Where do they buy it from? All those good details, which we can also link within the show notes.
Yeah, it'll be awesome to have there. It's really simple. The product is called Exodus, but the company is called Exodus Strong. So, right, just think about Exodus and then Strong, and you'll find the company, and I'll make sure you have the links. The only other component that I didn't really talk about that I think is still relevant and important is we have a really simple referral program. So if you sign up, we call them champions. It's basically our referral program. And if you refer somebody to the program or to buy our product, we're going to give you a commission for that. So you only have to share it like with 5 people and yours is free, right?
Oh,
so
wow.
it's just like, it's a win-win-win, right? You're helping people with their health, you're helping us grow, and you could potentially get your product for really inexpensive, right? So it's just like a win-win-win situation. And so that's a really nice bonus that we adding into it. And we're developing a community site that we really want to help people talk about all these all natural health things, right? Just where do you find this nutrition? Where do you like barley grass and wheatgrass? What do those really help with? And how do you find out information about that? And then there's 2 websites I want to point people to that are just phenomenal when you're researching hydrogen. If you go to hydrogenstudies.com, super easy, right? Hydrogenstudies.com or molecularhydrogenstudies.com. You can go to both of those sites and you just start looking. You say, okay, I know my mom has X. Go look and see if hydrogen helps with X. And you're going to be just blown away at the number of things that it helps with. It's really surprising of how this works. And then you say, oh my gosh, Exodus helps me have it very potent inside my body versus all these other hydrogen options. Maybe I should try Exodus, right? So try it out. So those are the other things that I think are just important. But that whole mind, body, spirit is something that we're going to really lean on into over the next 6 months. We're going to be combining some of our amazing frequency stuff that we're doing with the supplement, with this mind, body, spirit connection. And so you'll see other products and things from us in the future that are combining them. But really, right now, we're so focused on just getting the message out on Exodus because it's the foundation. It's the basics that, hey, if you have a health issue, try it because there's no reason not to try it. And then, if it doesn't work, give you your money back, right? So it's like, it's super easy and simple, and man, it's the results we're getting are just super fun. Last woman that came to us at a conference, she said, I got introduced to it a week ago, and she goes, my husband loves you. And I'm like, why does he love us? And he's like, she goes, I've been having hot flashes and I cannot sleep in the room, and it's so miserable. And he's like, you're gonna have to leave if you keep doing this. And, and she's like, I've been able to sleep in the bed the whole week. So her
That's
hot flashes
another
are
great
gone.
story.
Right. So those stories are super awesome. And then we literally have some healing ones that are just like, wow. Right. And of course we can't say any of the details of those, but just it's really helping people in such a dramatic way. That's like, man, this is so fun. We're really helping people. And man, even if you just, instead of the one professional bodybuilder, he's like, I get up at 3:30 in the morning, right? I go do my workout. And then 5:30, I start training clients, right? Until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I'm usually toast at 2 o'clock. He says, I need a nap. And he says, ever since I've been taking Exodus, I don't need a nap. He says it gives me sustained energy throughout the day because it's got all those nutrients in it, and the molecular hydrogen helps. And it's just like, he's like, this is just phenomenal. So it's just so fun when you hear these stories. It's like, wow, this is really going to help people in a really dramatic way. And I'm just blessed that the Lord has given me the responsibility to educate the world about it. It's going to be a fun ride.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Mhm.
And we're thankful that you're pioneering this and making it available for everybody. So we're so appreciative. Thank you for sharing all that information, which we will link in the show notes for anybody that's wanting to research more, to purchase Exodus as well. Oh, Rob, you're a gift, and it is just always so fun to talk to you because, like, there's some heavy topics that we talk about, but you bring a lightheartedness, a passion. Your energy just emanates, and we laugh, and it's just always great speaking with you. So thank you again for joining us today.
Yeah, it's been such a pleasure, and just I've been through it, right? Like you guys have been through it, and the journey was a lot of times not fun. But I know and I promise you that you can get through it and you will get through it. And at the end of the day, if you start doing some of these things, just simply get the momentum, right? Get that momentum. And when you get that momentum, you're going to be so excited because you're going to say, wow, this is starting to work. And, like I said earlier, the best gift you can give your loved one is your health. And I always finish that with, you can't have an impact on the kingdom when you're sitting on the couch. So help yourself get off the couch and get healthy and have an impact on the world that God made you to be.
Ah, beautiful. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.